welcome back to my channel. Please excuse my very messy room behind me, but we are in a new location over here at my desk today because we are going to be doing a tier ranking video. So in January, in the middle of January, I asked on my Instagram what people would like to see from me, what kinds of videos and things that people would like to see from me, and I got a couple of different responses that will be scattered throughout February and March. And one of the responses was that somebody would love to see me do more tier ranking videos, and so that's what we're going to be doing today. I have done quite a few tier ranking videos before. I will link them in the description below if you want to go check those out, but in today's video I am going to be tier ranking hockey romances. So I love hockey romances and I've been reading them since I really got back into reading romance in 2020, and they are some of my favorite things to read. I really started loving them when I read Sabrina Bowen. She was like the first real like hockey romance girl that I read a ton from and became obsessed with, and then I went out and I read a ton of other ones. So she is to blame, or is honored with the reason why I love hockey romances. But basically what I did is, hockey romances have been super popular recently, and a bunch, especially in 2023, they were so popular, and so I took a list from the internet. I googled popular hockey romance books and I found a big list, and I imported all of the books from that list into a tier ranking like spreadsheet type of thing, and I'm going to tier rank those on the list. I honestly don't know a ton of them. Like I don't know what they are. I really did this very quickly and was just like, all the ones on this list. So this is by no means all of the hockey romances that I recommend. This is by no means all the hockey romances that are out there. This is just a tiny, tiny dot in the hockey romances that are super popular, but this is the ones from that list. So I'm gonna go into them, and we're gonna share my screen and we are going to tier rank these hockey romances. So let me share my screen. Okay, so we should be recording my screen now. You should be seeing it. So this is what my tier rank looks like right now. I have some categories, and then these are the books that were from the list that I got. So I made the categories. So the first category at the top in the pink is all-time fave. So these are ones that I absolutely love, all-time favorite books, totally, totally recommend. Then the next category in the blue is worth reading. These are ones that didn't quite make my all-time fave, but I still enjoyed them and would definitely recommend reading them. They are worth your time. The green category, on the other hand, are ones that I have read that I think are worth skipping, waste of your time. They are not enjoyable. Then we have on my TBR, so these are ones on the list that I would like to read and I haven't read yet. And then I'm gonna pass are ones that I haven't read yet, but that I don't plan on reading because I don't think I'm gonna enjoy them. So that's what we're gonna do. This was going to be short because there are not that many, because I didn't want to get too overwhelmed on this list, but we are gonna go right in and go with the first one, which is Little Lies by Helena Hunting, or H. Hunting. I have read quite a few books by Helena Hunting. Her whole Pucked series, which I see right here, which I'm actually gonna move up here to the front so we can do both of them at the same time. I've read her whole Puck series, and I have read her books under H. Hunting, and then she also has, I think, another hockey romance that's called The Good Luck Charm, I believe is what it's called, and I've read that one too. But for H. Hunting, her works under H. Hunting, they are more new adult, but they're also a little bit more gritty or angsty. Her Puck series is a lot more comedic. So for her Little Lies, I'm actually going to put it in all-time fave because I did really, really love this book. I didn't give this one 5 stars. I gave it 4 or 4.5. I can't remember, but I super, super, super love it. The only thing about this one is that it is told in kind of like it's not two timelines, but there are a lot of flashbacks, and I am not a big fan of flashbacks, so that is one of the reasons why this one didn't get 5 stars for me, but I still absolutely highly recommend it. I think it's such a good read. There's so much angst in this one, and the heroine also has anxiety in this one, and I really like the way the anxiety is told in this one. This one is sort of second chance vibes. The heroine in this one was kidnapped when she was a child, and the hero kind of blames himself, but he also and her become very codependent on each other. They have anxiety and they like band together with their anxiety, and their parents get nervous and think that their relationship is unhealthy and separates them. And so then they see each other again years later when they are in college, and he and her end up rekindling their relationship that they had. Like, they weren't in a romantic relationship when they were younger, but they were in a very codependent, always together relationship, and it's such a good one. Definitely angsty, definitely more gritty than some of the other books, but really enjoyable. This one, as for the hockey, there isn't as much hockey in this one as other hockey books on this list that I'm seeing. This one is, the hero is a hockey player, and he definitely is like an amazing hockey player. This one is the child of this series right here, A Favor for a Favor. That series, which is also by Helena Hunting, the first book in that series, which is called A Lie for a Lie, Kodiak, the hero from Little Lies, is the child of the characters from A Lie for a Lie, and that's also a hockey series, but Little Lies is the child. So I'm gonna put it in all-time fave. I definitely really recommend it. Pucked, I am going to put in worth reading just for the laugh, honestly. This book is hilarious. It's very over the top. You have to be the kind of person that would like this humor in order to like this. I know so many people that think it's funny if you don't take it too seriously, but I know a ton of people who did not like this book. I personally go back and forth whether I liked this book. There are some times where I really liked it, and then there are some times when I'm like not in the mood, and I'm like looking back on it and I'm like, that was stupid. But I am going to put it in worth reading because you gotta experience it. It's really ridiculous, but please don't take it too seriously or else you will not like it. A Favor for a Favor, I'm also going to put in worth reading. I enjoyed this series more than the Pucked series, but I like her Lies, Hearts, and True series better, so I'm going to put it in worth reading. This one, specifically A Favor for a Favor, is a brother's teammate who they don't get along. So her brother and the guy, the hero in this book, they don't get along, and the heroine moves in across the hall from him, and she is the sister of the like head guy on the team, and she is training to be a, what is that word, sports therapist, and she ends up helping him when he gets a groin injury. Okay, the next one we have is Home Game by Odette Stone. I really liked this series. I think I'm going to put this one in, I'm going back and forth between worth reading and all-time fave. I think I'm going to put this one in worth reading. I really, really liked this book specifically in this series. I can't remember what this series is called, but I read all of the books in this series. This one is my favorite one in the series. The hero in this one is a hockey player, and the heroine is homeless, and she ends up meeting him when she helps him at a coffee shop with his accounting issues. And then she's like, I need to leave at this specific time. I need to leave at this specific time. And then she gets distracted helping him, and she freaks out when she realizes what time it is, and he chases after her when she runs out, and he realizes that she was trying to get into a homeless shelter, and that the homeless shelter closed at a specific time, and now she is left out on the streets. And so he offers to pay for a hotel for her, and then when he gets a call like a day or two later when his card is found on her, and she had been beaten, and then he brings her back to his house, and she ends up moving in with him, and it's a like roommates romance. It's really, really good. I really recommend it. I really liked it. This one is Sincerely the Puck Bunny by Maren Moore. I'm gonna put this one in waste of time. This is a surprise pregnancy romance, and this one was just fine. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was not horrible, but the writing wasn't my favorite. The plot line wasn't as exciting. I liked the baby in it. Like this one, it's a surprise pregnancy romance, but basically the baby gets left on the hero's doorstep and is like, this is your kid. And the hero is a hockey player, and then he hires a nanny, I believe, to watch the baby while he is on away games at hockey. And it was not horrible, but there are much better hockey romances out there. Tegan Hunter's Puck Shy. I think that this, I'm putting it, I don't want to put it in waste. I wish there was a category between worth reading and waste of time. I know I made these categories, but this one specifically is definitely, there are no 5 stars in this one. Actually, I think I gave one of the books 5 stars. I think I gave Sin Bin 5 stars or 4.5 stars, but all of the rest of the books in the series are like 3.5 or 4 stars, and they're not bad, but they're definitely very basic ones, quick, easy reads. So if you are looking for a quick, easy read, I would recommend Puck Shy. But if you are looking for like a great 5-star, you're gonna love it, hockey romance, this one is not that. So I am going to leave it in waste of time, but with that caveat that I did actually enjoy it, but it's not a favorite. It's never going to be a favorite. This series is never going to be a favorite. It is very basic, just quick, easy reads. The Puck Secret by Jan Wright is on my TBR. Jess from Peace Love Books absolutely loved this book. I actually started this one on ebook like 6 months ago. Like before Jess even read it, I started it on ebook, and I only got like 2 chapters in, and then I got distracted reading other things. But those 2 chapters I was enjoying. What I do know about this book is that it is a more angsty one. So the heroine ends up texting who she thinks is her best friend, but she puts the number in wrong, and it goes to the hero, and the hero and her don't like each other because, or the hero doesn't like her because her dad cheated on his wife with the hero's mom and then left her like in the trash kind of thing. And this one was definitely, it seems more hard-hitting, a little bit more angsty, so I'm really intrigued by it, especially because Jess loved it so much and we tend to have very similar reading taste. Unsteady by Peyton Corinne I'm also putting on my TBR. This one is another one that I started reading and then got distracted, wasn't in the mood for, but I want to go back to it because it's another one that a friend liked. Tori from Novel Life loved this book, and this one is a figure skater and a hockey player, and I always really like that dynamic. I think it's fun, and the heroine in this one is in a hard situation. Her father is like an alcoholic or something, and the hero is a hockey player who got into a accident on the ice, like he hurt himself, and now he has severe anxiety about getting on the ice, and so the heroine ends up witnessing a panic attack from him and helping him through it, and then she ends up kind of being his like safe space. It seems really, really good, and I want to read it. Consider Me by Becca Mack is also tentatively on my TBR. It's not as high as some of the other ones. I haven't read Becca Mack before, but I have also seen a couple of people not love this one, so I'm tentatively putting it on my TBR. Icebreaker is a waste of time. I did not enjoy this book. I actually DNF'd it. Not a fan. This one, Pucking Around, is all-time favorite. This is a hockey reverse harem book, and it was actually on my favorite books of 2023. I love this one. This one is long, but it is worth it. You get all of the perspectives of all 3 heroes and the heroine. The heroine is a sports therapist who gets a job with the Tampa Bay Rays, and she moves down there and she ends up seeing one of the guys on the team is a guy that she had a amazing one-night stand with. They had this like amazing instant connection, but then she ended up having to leave, and so she sees him again and she wants to have a relationship with him, but she also ends up having a relationship with his best friend and also another guy on the team, and then the guy that she had the one-night stand with is also in a relationship with his best friend. So it is a MMFM romance, and it's so good. If you're looking for a book with like amazing communication, there's not a single ounce of miscommunication in this book, and it is fabulous. Weekside by S.J. Silvis is another one that's on my TBR. I didn't realize there were so many books from this list that I haven't read yet. I've read so many hockey romances, and it's so funny to see how many I still have to read. But Weekside, I have seen some really good things about. I'm actually really excited about the second book in this series. I can't remember what it's called, but that one I think sounds really good, and I want to read S.J. Silvis because I haven't read her before. Right Man, Right Time, I'm putting in worth reading. I really actually liked this book. I was worried about reading this one because I despised, I believe it's the book right before this one, which is Those Three Little Words, I think is what it's called. It's a surprise pregnancy romance. I hated that book. It was on my worst books of 2022 video. Absolute one. If I gave 1 star, it would be 1 star. I mean, that one was like so bad. And the first book in the series, which is Kiss and Don't Tell, I didn't mind. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was cute. This one I really did like. This one is a age gap one, and fake dating. It was really good. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. The Deal by Elle Kennedy is going straight into all-time fave. I love this series. It really is worth the hype. I know it's so hyped now, which is so funny because when I first read it, it wasn't like, I mean, people liked it, but it wasn't super hyped like it is now. But now it's in Barnes & Noble. It's all around. There are so many like special editions of it. So I find that so funny. But this series really is so good. I love the Off-Campus series and I love the Briar U series. The Off-Campus series is definitely better than the Briar U series, but the Off-Campus series is so good. And I would highly recommend reading all of the Off-Campus books except for the Legacy. Seriously, don't read the Legacy. It's bad. This one, the first one, The Deal, is Garrett Graham and Hannah, and Garrett is a hockey player on campus and Hannah is a music student, and they are paired up together. Hannah was assaulted when she was in high school and is afraid of kind of getting back into intimacy, and she ends up making a deal with Garrett and he helps her through. And it's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer is on my TBR. This one is one that I have seen a ton of people talk about, Stephanie Archer. This one I was going to pass on because I was just judging the cover, honestly, for this one. But then I saw so many people talking about how good Stephanie Archer's writing is, so now I want to try it. So I am putting it on my TBR. Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy is all-time fave. This is one of my literal favorite books of all time. I am serious. If I had to name 10 books that were my all-time favorite books, this one would be one of them. I love this book so much. Wes and Jamie have my heart. This is a friends to lovers bisexual awakening romance, and it has my whole heart. The two guys knew each other when they were younger. They were best friends at hockey camp, and then Wes was in love with Jamie and something happens between them and Wes gets very embarrassed, and so he doesn't talk to Jamie anymore, and then they see each other again when they're seniors in college when they're playing against each other, and Wes decides to go back to camp as a counselor that Jamie has been for the last couple of years to finally shoot his shot and tell him that he's gay and that he loves him. And it's so sweet and wholesome, and I love it so much. Mile High by Liz Tomford. I'm putting in all-time fave. This one I really loved. Honestly, when I saw it on this list, I was like, that's a hockey romance, because I literally forgot the hero was a hockey player. So there is not a ton of hockey in this one, but the hero in this one is a hockey player and the heroine is the flight attendant for the hockey team, and it's a forbidden romance because she is not allowed to fraternize with the players, but they end up having a romance. The hero is a big asshole in the beginning, and I was really worried I wasn't gonna like this book, but he ended up really redeeming himself, and I really, really loved this. The heroine in this one is plus sized, and it's really great plus size representation. This one is also quite long. That was my one gripe with this book, is that it is a little bit too long for me, but it is really worth reading because it's so freaking good. The New Guy by Serena Bowen is definitely worth reading. This is another MM romance by Serena Bowen. One of the heroes is a hockey player, and he's the new guy on the team, and he's constantly moving from place to place, and he is gay, but it is a secret. And the other hero is a single father who recently got a job as a trainer at the hockey team that the other hero plays on. And they live across the hall from each other, and they actually meet each other for the first time at a bar, and the hero Hudson, who is the hockey player, he starts to, they flirt, and he decides to take the other hero back to his apartment. But when he finds out that he lives there too, and that he works for the Brooklyn Bruisers now, he freaks out because now somebody knows that he's gay. But they have an amazing romance. Like I said, it's single dad, and the daughter is really, really sweet. She's a big hockey fan, and it's super, super cute. Iced Out by Veronica Eden is another one that's on my TBR. I've seen this one talked about quite a bit, and I actually thought that I had read it, and then I realized I had read Iced Out by C.E. Ricky, and I was super confused but they both have the same name. I just have not read Iced Out by Veronica Eden. Honestly, not sure what it's about. Iced Out by C.E. Ricky is definitely worth reading. I did really enjoy this one. This is another MM one. I love MM hockey romances. They are my favorite things, honestly. If I could take any hockey romances, it would be MM hockey romances. They're so, so good. But Iced Out is a enemies to lovers romance. They are both on the same team, and they end up having a hookup one night. They don't like each other, but they end up having a hookup one night, and then the team starts winning, and so they're like, crap, it must have been us hooking up that made us win, and so they start hooking up before each game, and they consistently start winning, and it's like a superstition kind of thing, and it's really fun. Offsides by Avery Keelan. I am in the minority for this one, but I think it's a waste of time. I did not like this book. It was on my worst books of 2023 video. I despised this book. I didn't like honestly anything about it. It's too long. It has too many side character plots that were so boring. I got like 45. I think I actually DNF'd this book. I can't remember if I finished it or not. But like 40% in, they were already together, and I was like, what's the point of this? And it was just not for me. What is this called? Gravity by Tal Bauer. I definitely want to read. Tal Bauer is one of the authors that's on my to read in 2024. I really, really, really want to read him. He writes MM hockey romances, which I just said that I love, and I know that he is one that is so loved, and I definitely want to read this one. And then there's another Tal Bauer hockey one that I want to read that I know a lot of people read in 2023, so I want to try that one. The Game Plan by Macaulay Smeltzer. I'm actually going to put in, I'm going to pass on this one. I am just not the biggest Macaulay Smeltzer fan. I have started to read, I think, two of her books, and I DNF'd both of them. I do still want to read Sweet Dandelion, but I think that's the only one that I am still interested in reading from her, so I'm just going to pass on this one. The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy I think is worth reading. This is the second gen for the Off-Campus series, so the characters in this one is their daughter. So the heroine in this one is Garrett Graham's daughter, and she is trying to make a name for herself as somebody other than Garrett Graham's daughter. She wants to be known for her, and she is trying to make the Olympic national team, and the hero in this one is trying to get in Garrett Graham's good graces, and so they end up forming a deal where she talks him up to her dad, and he helps her with the parts of hockey that she is struggling with. Wildcat by Rebecca Genshak. This specific book is on my TBR, but I have read other books in this series that I would put in worth reading. I liked these, and these are very similar to this, but I think they're like just a step above Tegan Hunter's. I think if I was going to recommend you one series, it would be Rebecca Genshak's over Tegan Hunter's, although I have not read, I think, 1 or 2 of the books in Rebecca Jenchak's series. This is actually book 1, which is funny, but I've read, I think, book 3 and 4 and 5, maybe. I've read, like, the ending of the series, or maybe 2, 3, and 4. I've read a couple of them at the series, and I really, really enjoy them, so those ones would be worth reading, but this specific one is on my TBR. Collide is also on my TBR. I can't remember who the author of this one is, but I do want to read it. This cover is just super cute, and I've heard really good things about it. Tutoring the Player by Rebecca Jenchak I think is worth reading. This one is another one that I kind of forgot. It was a hockey player in this one. So there isn't a ton of hockey, but it is new adult, and I really enjoyed this one. I think it's super fun, this one. And this whole series is fun, but this is the only one that's actually a hockey player. I think the other ones, they are other sports players, but this one is exactly what it says. The heroine tutors the hockey player, and it's super cute. Change on the Fly by Maren Moore I am going to put and I'm going to pass. I'm just not the hugest fan of Maren Moore's writing. I have tried, I think, 2 or 3 of her books, and I'm not a fan. Like, this one is also by her, and I just didn't love them, and I've tried a couple of her other ones. I think I attempted one of her baseball ones, and I ended up DNFing it, so they're just not great. Not my favorite. I end up giving them 3 stars. Breakaway by Grace Riley. I am in between this one. I'm going to put it on my TBR, but it's not high up on my TBR at all. But it is available on Hoopla for free, so if I'm in the mood for a hockey easy one, I might try that. Brutal Obsession by S. Mastery is another one that's on my TBR. This is one that's much higher on my TBR because this is a dark hockey romance. The hero in this one is like super like dark, and I'm in that. I'm in that mood. I want that. Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed, going up to all-time fave. This is another one of my all-time favorite hockey romances. This one is a enemies to friends to lovers romance that lasts for years. This one is so fucking good. The 2 characters have always been rivals. They've been competing. They started hockey around the same time, and so the media has constantly like pit them against each other, and so they're rivals, and they end up hooking up one night, and they continue to over the years, and like I said, it goes on for years. It's so fucking good. This one actually ends on a happy for now, but there is a book 2. Rachel Reed was not going to write a book 2. She was just going to leave it ending on a happy for now, but then this book became, people started asking and asking and asking for it, and so she finally relented, and I think in 2022 she ended up making a HEA for them, so it is a duet, and I would recommend reading both of them. I give both of them 5 stars. They're so fucking good. Beneath the Ice by Ally Cotton, I haven't heard a ton about, but I'm going to put it on my TBR. The Pucking Wrong Number, I am putting directly into a waste of time. I despised this book. Honestly, another one that I didn't remember was a hockey player. This one, no thank you. I think I gave this book 2 stars. This one was a darker one. He stalks her, and I've read some stalker romances. I've read some dark romances. This one was not it for me. This one, the hero was creepy, not sexy. No thank you. Absolutely not. Lucky Hit by Hannah Cowan I'm going to put in on my TBR. That's another one I haven't heard a ton about. It's lower on my TBR, but it's still on my TBR. And then Meet Your Match by Candy Steiner is the last one, and I'm going to put it in worth reading. I actually really enjoyed this one. I am a big fan of Candy Steiner's football romances. Her what is that series called? Red Zone Rival series, so like Fair Catch, Blindside. I love those ones. So I was really excited when she was announcing that she was going to be making hockey romances, and this one is super, super good. The hero is a hockey player who's like a really popular hockey player, and the heroine is works for this social media company and ends up kind of shadowing the hero in order to like write articles and like make content about him, and I actually really enjoyed it. Really good. Would recommend reading it. But that's the last one that I had. So that was 35. It says that I have 35 books that I ranked for you. I'm sorry there were so many that were on my TBR. I literally didn't look at this before I started filming. I just imported the whole list. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed that. Let me know if you would want me to do another tier rank of like a specific trope or something like that, but that's gonna be it for this video. So like this video if you liked it, subscribe, stick around, see more content from me. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite hockey romance is, and if you don't want to share your favorite hockey romance, leave me a hockey stick emoji because I know there is one of those. But that's gonna be it, so I hope that you have the absolute best day. Bye.